This is going to be a build video for the DF01 Mantaray, but before I get into that, the re-release one, I actually got this not long ago and I need a little bit of advice on a couple of things, but I'm probably not going to end up running it. I'm just going to clean it up. It's been used. It was just advertised as a Manta Ray, but of course it's a Super Manta Ray. But after looking at it, it's not super, it's kind of stupid. I'm not actually sure what they were thinking or what the design philosophy was with this. The front and rear gearboxes are DF01, from what I can tell, pretty much just standard gear diffs, open diffs rather, and yeah, nothing special. But of course the body itself is a cool graphics kit, but different. Super Manta Ray, you've got the grey and things like that. Some geezer has decided that carbon tape was the move. Just for the record, carbon tape is not the move. It's rarely the move, ever, for anything. It's a good point. Anyway, I'm going to peel that off and probably just keep it on the shelf, and there's a few reasons why. It's got this great dust cover, wicked, which the stock one doesn't have. I've got these other parts for it too, and quite a comprehensive dust cover, goes right around everything, and you know, good as far as dust covers go. But if the idea was to keep the dust out, then you wouldn't put it on a chassis that you've made to look like Swiss cheese. There isn't any covers for these that I'm aware of, and it's got this super bizarre, like there's holes everywhere. There's holes up through here, like you've gone to town trying to make it lightweight, but of course they're not trying to make it lightweight. I don't know what the story was. You've got round holes here, big square holes, big cutouts. You've got this underneath the battery compartment, there's this translucent looking tray, door, battery door, like where a battery door would be, but it's not hinged. So it's not a battery door. It's not anything. It's just a translucent piece of plastic shaped like a door, which isn't a door, which again is vented, and there's no, these don't come with a skid pan. So this is it, and you can just imagine, you know, take this through some gravel, four-wheel drive. These things do, they tear it up, and they're really cool. So there's gravel in all directions. There's dirt flying, and these aren't small holes. These are huge holes. So I don't understand what the story was. Putting a dust cover on top. In fact, I'll go so far as to say that this would fill up with dirt, right, in there, in the electronic compartment, and where the steering servo is and the arm trying to steer it. This would fill up with dirt, and then you wouldn't, unlike a normal one, where you would, you know, take the body cover off and then go take it all out. You shake out the dust. You wouldn't be able to do that. You'd have to. This is retarded. That's what this is. So I'm not sure what they were thinking. Dust cover, great idea. Putting it on this chassis with all the holes in it, it's monumentally stupid. I can't understand it. So a neat, unique design from Tamiya, which I won't be using. I'll be putting this on the shelf. Bit of a restore. As I say, it's not mint anyway. It's been run. Oh, and the other thing I wanted to know too is the tyres. Now, I've got lots of these types of tyres, but none of them say that. Now, right there, I don't know if you can see it. It says cactus tyre. Now, the stock ones, all the ones I have, don't say that. They say Tamiya like that, but not in this font. And they don't say cactus tyre. I think they say super gripper or something like that. But the point is, that's weird. Super weird. So I wonder if that's stock. I'm not sure. Or did that come out on all the old ones? Maybe I haven't got any old tyres. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe all my tyres are re-release. Comment if that's the case. I don't actually know. Cactus tyre, bigger font. Don't know why it says that. But in any case, yeah, I'll be putting this up on the wall. I think that's where this will be going. But as far as the actual build for this new re-release goes, I'm looking forward to it. These are awesome. out of the box, fantastic. In fact, if you're going to get any Tamiya or recommend one to somebody who's a bit of a noob, but wanted the Tamiya, definitely wanted the Tamiya, and they wanted four-wheel drive, and they wanted a vintage sort of look, DF01, and I probably would recommend this over a Top Force for a bunch of reasons. If you're a bit of a noob, first of all, they just work really well. So Tamiya got this right. See Tamiya, they got this. This is wrong, but they got this right. This is right. So the geometry of the steering and the suspension, although all the links and the arms are fixed, the geometry is good. So unless you are at a higher level of racing or anything like that, you wouldn't, or you wanted some more performance out of it, you wouldn't need to change these. You don't need adjustable. And I'm a big fan of, if it isn't broken, you don't need to fix it. You can fiddle with it, and a lot of people fiddle with things and they make them worse than what the factory was. So factory settings were. So, and the other thing too is these come with a gear diff, as opposed to like a Top Force, which comes with a ball diff, and they can be a bit finicky. And on some of the re-release ones, the outdrives and the outdrive casing was from the diffs weren't. I don't think the castings were that good, and they would strip those outdrives. But the gear diffs are pretty bulletproof. You can put some reasonable power through them, and you can abuse them. And as long as you built them correctly, they'll hold up good. Like all the DF01s I race, the Top Forces, they all have Manta Ray diffs because it's just easy and simple. So I'll be building this in only with a couple of hop-ups. The vintage class racing we have locally only allows for a couple of mods, really. You're not allowed to modify too much. You must run a stock motor, or close to stock, like a Kyosho G27 or a 27-turn Tamiya, or sometimes torque tune. In fact, I think that's the limit usually, torque tune, 25 turns, brushed, non-timing adjustable. In any case, I'll be putting one of these in because otherwise they're a bit lethargic. This is a TA02 high-speed gear set. That's kind of a bit of a must. Depending on the track you're on, that's a bit of a must. And with the appropriate pinion. The other thing I'll put too on here, because I've actually got one, I probably don't need it with the way I drive and the nature of these vintage events. There's not a lot of catastrophic accidents that happen at a sort of your A and your B main sort of level, because people are driving consistently, like oftentimes in the 99-98% consistency range. But in any case, here we are. I'll probably put that on. Front gearbox cover underneath. And so that's where the two bottom arms, these two bottom arms, that's where they pivot from. And it can be quite good, because sometimes even if you have a minor incident, if somebody goes ahead and comes past you and clips or pushes back on these arms here, they pivot right off that little point there. And the factory secret setting is it's just plastic pivot point, and it can just tear clean off if it gets a bit of an impact. Same goes for the back, actually, and the back's more catastrophic because that pivot point of the bottom arms is actually attached to the gearbox, and if you break those, you've actually broken the whole bottom of the gearbox, and you have to replace it. So that's a real pain. But there's a linking bracket that I make for the back. I'll just get one. Oh, here it is. So this is a good example of one that I have. I just made this up actually on a race day. I made this up. You'll see here, there's just a bracket I've just made up out of aluminium. And the idea is that when you get a hit from that way, all this is linked and it won't shear off that. This has had a hard life. So my daughter runs this. This is actually a Top Force, which has been converted into a truck. It's actually really neat. But it's a handful because short wheelbase, and it goes quite good. 17.5 turn motor, which I've dialed back for her. But the point is, it's still a handful, but it goes real good and looks neat. So reproduction, Blackfoot shape body. But yeah, this is actually a neat project. That was a neat project, that one. Jumps really well, good power, good traction, and it just uses, of course, the Stadium Blitzer wheels, rear wheels, the Hex ones, front and back, and yeah, it goes really good. I tell you, these tyres don't last very long though. I think this is the shortest lasting tyre ever produced by Tamiya on the back of a stadium blitzer, just and then they're gone. But I run this on, this is also, our track's pretty soft surface, and I've actually switched the track to grass now. I've just hard packed it and grassed it, so these will last a little bit, and they hook up real nice on the grass. But in any case, yeah, that's the brace, and I'll be making a brace for that, so I don't tear the gearbox apart if somebody goes ahead and clips the back on this kind of an angle, or you have a rollover and it lands like that, boom, it can tear that whole arm off the gearbox casing. No good. So that's that. But yeah, apart from that, I'll probably be running a ESC Hobby Wing. I could probably just use a 1060 because they're awesome and they're reliable and I never have any problems with them. But I'll probably run the 1080 because the 1080 you can they have a program card, so you can, they're not super adjustable, but you can adjust enough. So like you can adjust your punch settings, trail brake, and things like that. And you can just make it a little bit easier to handle. It is good, it's worthwhile, and they're super cheap still. They're very, very cheap. I got all this gear from my buddy at Top Shelf RC, so that's a local store to us. And they're quite into the vintage racing. So, I mean, we've got all the parts from them. And bearings we will run, of course, throughout, and it's going to be a fun project. And this will race in the pre-96 class. So yeah, restricted to the motor you can run, pretty much just a stock motor, but it's going to go good. It's going to go real good. I'm quite excited about it. I would rather a dirt thrasher. Like, I wish they re-released the dirt thrasher. This is kind of, the shell of a Manta Ray is kind of love it or hate it. Like, a lot of people think it's dumb, and I think sometimes I think it's dumb. When I look at it, sometimes I, man, it looks awkward and chubby. But then other times it looks mean. So it's good from some angles. It's the best way to describe it. But the dirt thrasher, in my opinion, the dirt thrasher looks good from all angles. Let me get it. State of this, you tell me. There's probably not a buggy that captures 90s, early 90s, late 80s, early 90s design like the dirt thrasher. It's so cool. Oh. Pinnacle of Tamiya, early 90s. Wasn't that expensive, super drivable, great looking. Oh, looks so sweet. Great looking body shell, and the graphics so cool. I mean, it looks like all the motocross graphics that I were familiar with back in the day. How cool is that? So good. But yeah, so they haven't re-released this, so I do run it, but yeah, I've got a couple of these, but harder to get body shell parts for, so I'll just keep it on the shelf. These are great. As I say, I don't mind the Manta Ray. It looks good from some angles. But I'm hoping this time to do something neat with the, I won't do box art. Well, I'll do box art as far as decals go, but I won't do box art for the base color. I might even just go a little bit darker. I might even just go a darker gray, maybe. Don't know. Unsure. But I've got a bunch of different wheels for it, because these tires, type of tires, they don't work very well. Yeah, they don't work very well for racing on a hard packed track. They just skip across. They don't dig in well. They're good for doing hovels, and that's about it. But yeah, so I'll probably run a goosebump, and to that end, the stock wheels are too small. So I'll have to run, I've got a bunch that I've got here. I've got yellow, gold, you probably call that gold, buggy sets. So the DF01, the Manta Ray, and the Dirt Thrasher, they run a square set all the way around, so the same width, front and back, whereas Top Force has the narrower, typical four-wheel drive is narrower on the front, the rims. But I'll go ahead and use some of these ones here. These are off a DB. I think these are for, no, these are made for a DF03, I think. I think that's what they're sold as, DF03. They're a little bit bigger diameter, and you're able to squeeze a 2.2 like a goosey, you're able to squeeze it down on these with a little bit of finesse, which got good technique. Glue it on, and they go good. And the power we're running through them, they just last for a long time. You know, with a stock motor, you can just do lap after lap and aim for some consistency, and you barely wear the edge off because there's just not enough power. But you can still put in good lap times. It's just that you're pretty much nailing it the whole time or close to it. But anyway, going to be a good build. I'm going to see how it turns out. The build itself with the chassis and the drivetrain and all that's so straightforward. I'm just going to fast forward it. But then the decision is really what we do with the body shell and what base color. So I'm probably just going to do some research. There's so many of these being built, which is neat. And so you can go, hey, everybody's done every color under the sun. So I'll do a bit of research and see what the colors look the best. And I've got blue rims, I've got black rims, I've got white rims, I've got pink rims, I've got red rims. So that'll determine what the base color is too. That's going to be quite neat. But in any case, let's get into it. Not going to put those speed disc stickers on yet because might not end up running these wheels. But I do want to run those stickers on whatever wheels I put on, potentially. So it's looking good. This is going to be a good setup. I can already feel the suspension is great in these. They've got great approach angle, good clearance, good stroke room, plenty of suspension. And you know, it's one of the few Tamiya buggies you can pick up that front wheel. Look at that articulation you get. It's awesome. It just means they grip really well. They're super easy to handle. They don't bounce around. A good test is if you pop a wheel up, do the others leave the ground? No, they all stay planted. So you'll notice the two I've still got that wire drive shaft. I don't think it's going to make any difference. I've driven one before like that. It's totally fine. It's just the power we're running is not big power. So if you're running big numbers and you go ahead and run those wire shafts, they can actually they sort of like cavitate like that, and they sort of spin out of axis, and they go for a loop, and they can actually spit them clean out. But this isn't going to have any of those issues, I don't think. So should be good. There's another trick that I do too, but usually only if I'm running a high power, is you can buy a brace for the top of this gearbox right here. You can buy a brace to hold that gearbox cover down, which holds the idler gears down. But what I sometimes do is I just put a bolt right through from the back here, change this self-tapping screw that holds the rear shock tower on, change that to a longer bolt, and then the nut sits right there on the other side of it, holding that back of that gearbox casing down. Works really good. But I don't know if I'm going to need it. I'll probably do it anyway, but I don't know if I'm going to need it. So now it's just the body shell. So I'll clean this up, and then body shell time.
What we're trying to do here, Scott, is to connect kids from all over the state and give them support.
Oh yeah.
We just need to know if someone possibly.
Just thinking about 2 minutes.
Absolutely not. My son with a girl.
Yeah, like the other kind of blue there.
Like a really light silver.
So this is it all done. It's actually come up real good and pleased, very pleased with it. But still haven't decided on what I'm going to do with the body. I don't know. Black looks cool, but then black buggies don't tend to look very good for very long, so that might not be the move. Could even just do box art, you know. Maybe box art with a bit darker. How you get snookered is that the decal sheet has got the decal sheet. It's got this big yellow you end up with up there, boom, and the shocks are yellow too. That's like the primary consideration with the colour that we end up going. I might do a little bit more looking around online, see who's got what colours, see who's done what. Man, I don't think I've ever debated over a colour so much. Usually if I debate this much, I usually just go box art, because it's a safe bet and it ends up growing on you and having a, you know, if nothing else, if you don't prefer anything else over the colour, you've got that nostalgic box art look, which is, you never regret doing something in box art. It always looks good, it always looks right. But anyway, we'll see. We'll see. A bit more thinking. So here we are, all done. Pretty much all done. Still haven't decided on the wheels. Ended up going for white. But then I've done this dark lime strip down the bottom. I think it looks quite cool. And I did on the back, I did a, let's put this on. Oh, before I do this, just notice there's the battery pin here, which ends up sticking into everything, which I didn't like. I might just go ahead and use some of my mesh tape. body cloth tape like that is such a good idea, because anywhere where the body's going to get a hard time and impact the chassis, or in this case the body pin, it goes ahead and just scrapes the paint off your nice body. So a bit of this cloth tape goes a long way. Hard to get off. A little tough to get started. Super sticky, very flexible. And that'll just eliminate the problems for us. Although I might change this. Got a big pin here. Body pin, I might go for a smaller one. That's better. The front end is a bit odd, like the you can only put a small body pin on the front. It says you put one, from the front to the back there, but even the smallest one is a little bit of an odd fitment. So this is the smallest one we do, and even this one impacts, and it actually impacts the body. I think they've got the autofocus lock on, so it probably wouldn't work. But I think it impacts the body, like you push it in and it touches the body underneath the window there. So that's pretty rude. But in any case, this one here. That's that. Now I think it looks pretty cool. Let's have a little look. It's quite neat. So with the rear wing, see what I've done? I've just done a bit of a swoop up there. I'm not even entirely sure why I did it. Just to break up the blockiness of that rear wing. I actually think it looks quite cool. There's nothing wrong with that. I always thought the Manta Ray wing should have been a bit steeper, and I might actually 3D print a steeper mount so that it sits like that. I think that looks smarter. It's actually changing it by about probably 8 degrees or something. See there? I reckon it should be there. This is sort of, especially at that front leading edge. Look at it. See the angle? It's sort of almost like that, you know. I really feel like it's should be kicked a little bit. Should be just a little bit steeper. I did that to another buggy too. I did that to the I did that just, so it needs to be pushed like that. That'll be cool. I did it to the Terra Scorcher, is it? Yeah, the Terra Scorcher and the Thundershot. I steepened the angle of the rear wing, and it made it look cool, I think. So anyway, decisions now. I haven't put stickers on the wheels. I've got the pile of them up there, the speed disc stickers. I quite like it. It actually, it's really neat. It's not box art. It's not box art, but it's true to box art, you know. It's got this line down here and that one there, and it's white, but it looks pretty box art. I mean, there's no mistaking it for anything else. It's definitely a Manta Ray. It's quite neat. But what I've got, I might try, so I've got some different colour rims. So I've got these rims. What would that look like? hard to say, isn't it? Probably stupid. Yeah, I don't let it all, it's yuck. But what I've got is I've got black, I think would suit it, white, or another thing I've got is blue. I've got these blue rims. And that could look quite cool. Tie in that colour there. I'm keen to give these a go. Let's give these a go. Let's give these a go, see what it's like. Just find some tyres. It's actually not the end of the world. So I need to stand back. Turn the other light on, maybe. Maybe that's the trouble, not enough light. I don't know. I don't have. No, it doesn't spin my wheels. It doesn't spin my wheels. I thought that could have looked cool. It kind of looks kind of cool, but no, not the move. No, not the move. Not the move. Okay, that's it. You can only know if you try.
What's this? Nothing. Do you have another episode?
No, it's just a sketch for a story.